Alright guys, I'm gonna do this one quick because I'm pretty sure that I'm on fire right now. I just wanted to, I'm trying not to say, start off this fucking, oh, I'm kidding. I'm like a little kid when they get tired. I'm on fire. Anyways, I wanted to talk about CopLand. This movie kicks ass. Whether you're on fire or not, you're going to love this movie. This is absolutely Sylvester Stallone's best acting that he's ever done. I like it because he took my approach, which is I used to be in really phenomenal shape, but I'm just going to get fat. That's what I'm doing, guys. I'm actually preparing for a role. Did somebody say rolls? Oh god, I'm giddy. But it's got okay, perfect. We're gonna talk about Robert De Niro. He is so good in this movie. He got that like 70s cop look down. I don't even think it's a period piece, but he just, I mean, he said CopLand? Cop? Oh, okay. They didn't have to say this guy's a cop. I mean, he looks like one of the guys from the Beastie Boys video Sabotage, but he's so good in this movie. And the best part is anybody that's a Howard Stern fan has heard his sound clips where he goes, "You blew it." That's from this movie. He's so fucking good in this movie. I mean, it's De Niro. He's good in everything. But this was him, to me, like really in his prime. Wow, this movie is so good. This is absolutely one of my favorites. And it's a movie that has not gotten as much attention as it deserves. I mean, the actors in this are so good. You also have Harvey Keitel, who is just a stone cold. I mean, he is such a good bad guy. He's so good in this. And that's another guy. I don't know if he's ever had a bad performance. And then my personal favorite in this movie is Ray Liotta. I can't tell you why. I just love his character in this movie so much. If any of you guys watch this, and I urge you to, if you haven't seen it in a while or you've never seen it, please watch this movie and really watch it. You know how I am. Fucking shut off your social media, your Facebook, and just take your cell phone and just leave it in the other room. All right. Don't be texting and watching CopLand. I want you to be wearing a fucking badge. All right. I want you to be so into this movie because it's so good. But keep an eye out for Ray Liotta's. He has a scene where he does his dialogue and he's talking to Stallone, and he tips a beer can over, and he's like, "All right, your partner's down. He's bleeding out," and he's giving him like these pointers on how to handle, being a cop in this situation or that. But the way he does it is just, I mean, he's such a master at his craft. Ray Liotta is something else. He's one of those guys that he never has gotten like the credibility of De Niro or Pacino, but I think Ray Liotta is right up there. And he's one of those guys that, and I'm really noticing it now, whenever there's a movie and Liotta's in it, you just hear that voice. He has such an iconic voice, but he is so good in this. Him and Stallone. I'm telling you, Stallone gets a bad rap for, it's funny, he did the Rocky movies, and because that character is a little punchy, people think Stallone's like a dummy, but he's not, and he really is a good actor. But he really shows it in this movie. He is so good, and I don't know if it's just because it resonated with me, but his character is, I mean, it's fucking so good. The soundtrack, it's perfect because it's in New Jersey, right across the river from Manhattan. Okay, it's right on the shore, like the banks of the river. and they have the new Bruce Springsteen for most of the soundtrack, and just hearing those old songs with the setting in New Jersey and when you see Stallone's backstory, it's so good. I mean, it brings you to tears just hearing the song without even. You'll see what I mean. You gotta watch it. Stallone, basically, when he was a kid, when he was a teenager, he was in love with this girl, and she was like, the high school beauty queen. She was like the prom queen, and he was in love with her. And when he was probably like, I think, a senior in high school when she crashed her car into the river and she was drowning, and he dove down to save her, and she was inside the car, so he had to break through the door, or through the glass, I'm sorry. He had to break through the glass in the window to be able to get her out. And when he put his ear up against it, it blew his eardrum out. And they did an amazing job showing that, how it's like you're him and you hear it, and you hear everything, like, you hear just the ringing, just when he blows his eardrum out, and it's so well done. But then it shows him how that totally changed his life, because he lost all his hearing in that ear, and he becomes the sheriff of that town in New Jersey. But what he really wants to do is become a Manhattan, detective, basically, and or even just a Manhattan police officer. He basically wants to get across the river and be what they call in that movie real cops, And even though he's the sheriff, and he should be proud of it, and you see all these applications that got denied, that his whole life he's been trying to become a Manhattan police officer. And I'm sure he wanted to work to detective. I mean, I'm pretty sure. But you feel for him so much, because, and like Ray Liotta says, because the girl ends up, Stallone's in love with her, and his whole life he's in love with her, and they both stay in the same town, so they see each other, and they're friendly. But she marries like the like the jock, from the high school. He was like the football quarterback or whatever, and Ray Liotta goes, "Man, you should be bitter." He goes, "What happens? From saving this girl, you lose your hearing, and now you can't get a job on the force in Manhattan. And then to top it off, she goes and marries this fucking asshole." and the guy's kind of a dick too, And of course, he is one of the cops that's in Manhattan, so that really rubs salt in the wound, and you just feel for Stallone. And they show him, and he's just sitting there at his place, like drinking a beer, and then they have the Bruce Springsteen song come on, and it's so fucking good. And I grew up listening to Springsteen, and I've always been like a hopeless romantic and everything, so I know, and I had the one that got away. Well, there was about 15 that got away, but everybody's got the one, and I had to watch her go and get married and have kids with someone else. And so when I see that scene, I'm not saying I cry, but yeah, okay, I cry pretty hard to that. It's a good fucking movie. It's so good. But guys, I urge you, check out CopLand. It is phenomenal. The acting performances in this, it's almost like, really, when you watch it, you get the feeling like these guys thought it was going to be their last movie or something. I mean, these guys, it's almost like they were in a competition. They are all so fucking good. I mean, they hit every single nuance perfect. Even Rappaport was really good in it. And he's kind of the guy that sets off all these events in the movie, which there's a scene in the beginning on the bridge. What is it, the George Washington Bridge? It might be. I'm trying to think in my head of the area. I used to drive through there all the time. But they're on the bridge, and it's such an amazing way they show it. There's an accident, and there's all these events that happen, and then Stallone is drunk, and he has an accident, and he's just sitting there on the banks of the river looking out, and he can see all the lights flashing and everything on the bridge. It's just so well done. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen CopLand, you got to check it out. It's it's definitely one that's flown under the radar. I mean, when it came out, people talked about it a little bit, but hardly at all, and it deserves so much more recognition. And like I said, keep an eye out for that scene with Ray Liotta where he's talking to Stallone and he tips the beer can over. 'Cause every time I watch the movie, it's about 12 hours long because I have to rewatch that scene over and over again. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's just so fucking good. And then I should say the finale in this, like, oh, it's so fucking good. And the way that they show it with Stallone's his bad ear, and then something else that happens with his ear. And I don't want to give it away. I'm so bad with spoilers and stuff. But I won't say any more. Just say it is so fucking good. And you can't get a better recommendation than that. Sometimes they actually put my quotes on movie cases, and it says right here, Denzel Watch-a-ton. It's so fucking good. All right, guys. I'm sorry I was a little giddy in this one. I'm like a little kid. I'm tired. I'm cranky, but I'm actually past cranky. I'm just like giddy. I'm losing my mind. But at least I don't think I'm on fire anymore. So, hey, I got that going for me. Make sure you like and subscribe. I can never say that with a straight face. People are like and subscribe. He's joking, right? He's joking. Please, I love you guys. Oh, please, if you like and subscribe, it causes me pain. Whatever talks you into it, please do it. If you hate me, like and subscribe. And if you like me, like and subscribe. Because I like you. Alright, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.